So just want to hopefully give you guys a little bit of information to kind of walk away with and feel like you know, are prepared when you do make that transition. So again, we are super excited to be here. We are from the Office of Academic Advising at Wake Tech. You can definitely check out our website for more information about our services. So college can definitely seem very daunting and overwhelming, especially because you've not done it before. You may have family members that have gone through colleges before, gone through the process, gone through admissions, and gone through that long list of steps. But then you may not have, and so it can seem very overwhelming. But please know you are not alone in this. We have a great admissions office at Wake Tech. At various campuses, you'll find admission representatives that are here to help you. If you don't understand something, if you don't, know what comes next, come and see us. Do a virtual appointment, call. We are here to help you. And then once you get admitted, us in academic advising, we are here to kind of help you through those next steps and figure out, where to go. So you're not alone. Please know that. So we're going to touch a little bit on the different program and degree options that are available at Wake Tech, tips on how to prepare, and then obviously some resources to help you continue moving through the process. So the first thing we're going to jump right into, and one of the very first conversations that I will have with a brand new student is our degree options or program options. There are two main degree options that are offered at Wake Tech. You've got our university transfer options and then our Associate of Applied Science degree options. And honestly, the applied science degree options have a lot of university transfer opportunities. So maybe it's not quite fair to say university transfer versus applied science, because that kind of makes it seem like the applied science degrees aren't transferable, but they're just different they're transferable in a different way. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So there are now five different university transfer options at Wake Tech. We have our Associate of Arts, Associate of Science, Associate of Fine Art, Associate of Engineering, and then the Associate of Art and Science Teacher Preparation degrees. These are programs that are helping you work towards a bachelor's degree. So if your ultimate goal is to get a bachelor's degree and you would like to do that as soon as you finish your credits at Wake Tech, then doing one of these options is going to be your best bet. The courses that you complete in these programs are all guaranteed to transfer to any of the schools within North Carolina, and even the schools outside of North Carolina. A lot of these credits are your general education credits that you're going to need for a bachelor's degree anywhere you go, but they are guaranteed to transfer in North Carolina. The Associate of Arts and Science are going to be your most broad or most general degree options. The Associate of Arts is going to be for the students who are thinking, they're going to go into a major that doesn't really have a high math requirement, or it doesn't require two natural science courses in a sequence like biology or chemistry. So those are going to be programs like English and psychology. Even nursing falls into that category, business, degrees like that. So if you're thinking of transferring to a university into a major that, again, doesn't have that high level math requirement, then the AA path is probably going to be your your best bet. The Associate of Science, that's going to be more for the student who needs those upper level maths, needs the science sequence of courses. So you're thinking of a degree in chemistry or nutrition or biology or something along those lines. And then you've got your Associate of Fine Art, so any of your studio-based majors at the university. That's what that is going to prepare you for, so preparing that portfolio and things like that. Associate of Engineering, that one's pretty straightforward. That's for all of our engineering students. And then the Teacher Prep, that's a very brand new program to Wake Tech. So we are excited to have it, and it's for students who are interested in going into education. With the university transfer, degree options, again, it's allowing you to take your general education classes and some pre-major courses at Wake Tech. And again, they're going to guarantee to transfer and go with you. And you've got a ton of transfer options. The Wake Tech website that we use a lot with students, and actually I'm just going to throw it here in the chat, transfer.waketech.edu, has a ton of transfer resources out there for students that will help you kind of start your search. There are, a lot of, positives that come along with this. Again, if you're thinking of transferring for a bachelor's degree and you want to go right away, this is the route you want to take. But the downside is that you're taking general ed classes, you're taking English, you're taking math, science, humanities, and those courses are not necessarily preparing you for a job. They're allowing you to get gen eds and pre-major classes to where you can transfer and go do your major coursework at the university. So again, you have limited, skills that you've really taken away from this degree. So if you like the idea of being able to go and find a job after you finish your degree at Wake Tech, then that's where our applied science degrees come into play. So again, those AAS, applied science options, we have anything from, mechanical engineering to business, culinary, cosmetology, cybersecurity, network management. We have a ton of applied science programs, and these are degrees that are teaching you a skill and preparing you for a job. So if you're not 100% sure if you want to get a bachelor's degree, that's okay. These are for you. These are going to be way more focused into what you're probably interested in. So a lot of times we'll have students that come in and they're not really interested in doing English and biology and these general education type courses. They're really eager to get into their major, and they really just want to focus on that. And that's great because we have a ton of options. So again, you have really great opportunities for employment. But sort of the downside of that is that your transfer options are a little bit more limited. We have some really great transfer options for these programs, but you can't just go anywhere and have all of those credits transfer and go with you like you do with the Associate of Arts and Science and those other ones under the university transfer option list. So really think about, what your ultimate goal is in coming to Wake Tech. Is it because I want to take courses to go find a job, or is it because I want to take courses and move on to a university to get a bachelor's degree? So really ask yourself those questions, and I think that will help you decide which one is best. And then obviously meeting with an advisor, we can kind of talk through those options with you as well. Career and College Promise. So maybe some of you who are joining us today are already involved in the CCP program. If you're not, it is a great option for getting your feet wet and getting ahead. There are options and pathways within CCP that go either way. Both of those options that we just talked about, the university transfer programs and then the applied science programs, there are pathways for all of those. And if you're interested in CCP and looking at all the specific programs, you can go here. Let me drop this one in the chat as well. So we've got ccp.waketech.edu, and you can find out things, all CCP. There's a ton of information on the website to check out to learn more. So if you are in high school currently, and you are interested in taking college courses for college credit, CCP is where you want to start with that. But it gives you that ability to really, like I said, dip your feet in and see what college is all about. See how the college courses are structured. How are the college instructors? You know, how are they different from your high school instructors? You know, you can kind of start to, you know, learn a little bit more early on. And again, CCP, one thing that we didn't even put here is it's completely free. So you can continue to, you know, work on your high school credits while also working on getting college credits for free, which is pretty awesome. We definitely have students who come through the CCP program and will actually complete their degree, their full associate's degree, whether, you know, it's the Associate of Arts or the Associate of Engineering. We definitely have students who are able to get started and move through and complete their whole degree. Now that option's not for everyone, but definitely something that you have the ability to do. We also have students who come through CCP because maybe Wake Tech has some courses that you're really interested in. Maybe there are some careers that you're considering, but you're not 100% sure if that's a good fit, but your high school doesn't offer it. Cosmetology, for example. You know, we have students who are enrolled in CCP and can take a cosmetology course. And if they decide to go that route, they've already got a credit towards, you know, cosmetology once they graduate high school. So there's definitely, you know, some good opportunities for you to get out and really explore some different areas that you may not get the ability, you know, get the chance to explore while you're at high school. And then it also, again, will assist you with exploring different majors. And sometimes, you know, I say this a lot to students, sometimes it takes actually doing it, actually taking the course, learning more about it to decide whether it's something for you or not. Sometimes it takes doing it to figure out that's not the right fit. Or sometimes it takes doing it for you to think or realize, gosh, this is exactly what I'm meant to be. I really love this. And so the CCP program is a way for you to get those. Oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. This is definitely a great program to check out. Career exploration is insanely important. You know, we work with a lot of students that are coming in from high school or even that are in the CCP program that aren't sure what they want to do, and that's okay. I would say more often than not, students are not sure, even if they don't admit to it or not. They're typically not 100% sure. I wasn't 100% sure when I started college, and I changed my major probably 3 or 4 times before I settled on what I ended up with. So being unsure is okay. If there's one thing that you take away from this is that it's okay to not know, but we want to give you the resources to help you figure that out. So career exploration is one of those tools that we have at Wake Tech. You can use these tools as a prospective student. You don't have to be enrolled in classes to be able to utilize this. But this is a great way for you to either clarify that, hey, this is really what I want to be doing, or research it so that you can make an informed decision about your major. You don't want to make a decision based on, you know, what, you know, a parent has told you or a friend or another family member has told you. You really want to make a decision based on maybe some information that they've given you, but then also put in the research and look to see what this really entails. What does a day, like a typical day, look like in this job or in this field that you're looking to go into? What does the salary look like? What is the employment outlook over the next 10 years? You know, things like that are things that I think are going to help you make a decision. So Wake Tech has Career Lens Labs. These are open to students, again, prospective or enrolled. We have a QR code listed here or shown here down at the bottom on the right. You can just take your camera and hold it over the QR code to go to the website to check out our Career Lens Labs. So definitely something that we would encourage all students to do, even if you think you know. It's good to just go and clarify that and make sure that you're on the right path. All right, preparing for college. Some of the biggest changes that we think that you're going to see are going to be changes in the classroom, changes in how scheduling goes, scheduling those classes, what the coursework looks like. The thing with scheduling is you're going to make your own schedule. You know, in high school, most likely you kind of gave them an idea of what classes you wanted to take, but then they put your schedule together. They pick, you know, the times, what comes after what. I mean, they kind of set it all up for you. Well, in college, we don't do it for you. You do it. You get to choose what day you go to class. You get to choose what time. You know, if you're a morning person, if you're an afternoon, evening person, you get to choose how you do your coursework based on what's available. You get to choose whether you come on campus. Some students love hybrid, love online, and they maybe only want to be on campus 1 or 2 days a week, and that's fine too. Especially in COVID times, you know, in the last year and a half, a lot of things are virtual. A lot of things are online, and we realize that. And so we offer a lot of those options. So you do have that option, but if you know that it's something you need to be in the classroom for, then you can do those in the classroom. So you can do a mix. We have a lot of students who do like a mix of hybrid and online and in person, and you're welcome to do it that way. We also have students who aren't going to go full time, and that's okay too. You know, in high school, you kind of have a set schedule and everybody's taking about the same number of courses, and it's pretty much an all day, 5 day a week kind of deal. Whereas in college, it's not necessarily that way. We might have students who are working full time, or we have students who might work part-time but then also have some other family responsibilities, and so they're not really able to go to school full-time, and that's okay. You can go part-time. And when we say part-time, I mean less than 12 credit hours, so 2 and 3 classes versus doing 4 or 5 and being a full-time student. So you get to choose that, and honestly, you need to really think realistically what you can handle and realistically what kind of time you can put in each week. And that's kind of how you want to set up your schedule. And again, as academic advisors, we can help you through that. We can help you talk through, you know, what are your responsibilities and what makes the most sense for you. As far as the coursework, I would say there's probably going to be more of a workload with your college courses. They're going to be a little bit more in depth. There's going to probably be more assignments depending on the course. And they very well may be moving faster than some of your high school courses that you've been used to in the past. They might have more content, so they just need to move a lot faster to get it all in. You'll also find that we offer courses in an 8-week format and in a 16-week format. And so that's the other thing when you're scheduling your classes, is you have to decide, how do you learn best? Do you like the idea of being able to get into a class, move through it really quickly and be done with it? So in 8 weeks, and you know, then you're done. Or do you like the idea of it moving sort of at a steadier pace, you know, and it spread out over 16 weeks, which is a typical semester. So from like for fall, for example, that would be from August to December would be a typical 16-week semester. So you get to choose that, whether you want to do the 8-week or the 16-week option. Also, one thing that we wanted to know is that late policies can typically be more strict in college, or non-existent, honestly. You know, in high school, I feel like, you know, a lot of the high school instructors, they're trying to be a little bit more lenient and work with students. And not that our instructors don't work with students. That is not what I'm trying to say by any stretch. But I would say you're going to be treated as an adult. Because you are an adult and you are in college, and you know, if they post a deadline and you submit an assignment 2 days later, they're probably not going to accept it, and you're going to get a 0 for that assignment. So just know that coming in, you're going to be treated like a college student and as an adult. there is a lot of independence that comes with being in college. And for some students, it's too much and it can be overwhelming. But for others, they've been, wanting this for so long. And I think that in the end, as long as you're managing your time, and as long as your priorities are straight and school and college is really where you want to be, you're going to be fine. Because in the end, it's up to you to do the work. It's up to you to go to class. It's up to you to remember, when things are due, what assignments are coming up, when your tests are, so that you can plan to study for them. There's not going to be, an instructor emailing you or telling you in class every day, hey, don't forget this is coming up. Hey, don't forget you have a test, next week. Hey, don't forget, yes, they might send friendly reminders, but they might not, because you're an adult and it is up to you. You are paying to be here, and that's telling them that you want to be here. So they're not going to hold your hand through the course. And I'm not saying that students, that the ones that are here today are expecting to be treated, differently. But I think it's important to know when you're coming in, you're going to be treated like an adult. The last thing I want to say is that it's up to you to ask for help. And if, there's one thing is that you really want to be an advocate for yourself. Again, you're paying to come, you're paying because you want to learn. And so if you're not getting something that you need, ask for help. There are a ton of resources, and we're going to go over some of those in just a second. But ask for help. If you don't ask for help, then we don't know that you need help. Your instructors are also really great resources, and they want to know if you're not getting something, if you're not understanding something. We want to know if you're not sure what classes to take, or if you're not sure where to go for help. That's what academic advising is for. So again, it is up to you to ask for help. We can't help you unless we know something's going on. All right. Any questions so far? I feel like I'm just blabbing. So hopefully this is helpful information. Also, as you prepare for college, you want to think about the different ways that you're going to pay for it, because it's not free, right? Unless you're in the CCP program. But paying for college, there's a couple of different options. So grants and scholarships are where you want to start. That is free money that you do not have to pay back. But the first step is completing your FAFSA. You can go online to the Wake Tech website and then click on the green paying for college button, and then that takes you to all things financial aid. Typically, grants and scholarships are based on income, but they can also be, merit-based, so based on grades and things like that. So definitely something that you want to start with first. Typically, scholarships do require a separate application, but there are a ton of scholarships out there. Most universities or colleges like Wake Tech, we have foundation scholarships available to students, or internal scholarships that we give. We have internal money that we can help students pay for college. Most universities have the same. And then you have your outside scholarships, like maybe your mom or dad's work offers a scholarship every year, or your church, or, there are a ton of organizations and companies out there that have money that they want to give to students who are trying to further their education. So the only way you can figure those out is if you research them. There's great websites. College Board will hook you up with where to go to look at scholarships. Fastweb.com is another good scholarship website that you can use. So check those out. Lastly is loans, and I would only go the loan route if you absolutely have to. If you're not able to get grants and scholarships to help cover your tuition, then check out the loans. And again, I would talk with our financial aid office about the differences in the loans, what the terms are for these loans, when do you have to start paying them back, and really only borrow what you absolutely need. There is no reason for any student to be borrowing, huge amounts of money while you're at the community college. Because again, that's money that you're going to have to pay back, and community college is relatively inexpensive compared to the university. So if you're planning to go on to university, you might want to try to get as much grant and scholarship as you can here, and then maybe use loans later when it's a little bit more expensive. Maybe you have to do what's best for you, but I definitely don't like to hear of students that have to pay back large amounts after leaving Wake Tech. So definitely check out financial aid on the Wake Tech website. So we wanted to throw out some common questions that we get from new students. And maybe these are questions that have crossed your brain, or if they haven't, maybe they will. And so we can kind of put those out there before they become questions. So one of the first ones, what's the difference in being a full-time student versus a part-time student? We sort of touched on this a while ago. So 12 credits or more is full-time, and less than 12 credits is considered part-time. So typically 12 credits is about 4 classes, and part-time, usually you're looking, at less than that, obviously. So, sometimes we'll get students that are like, oh, if I only take, what do I need to be part-time? Well, part-time is just less than 12. Can you choose what campus to attend? Absolutely. When you go to register for your classes at Wake Tech, you get to choose RTP, Southern, Scott Northern, Western, online. You get to choose how you complete each course, where you go, if you do online or if you do virtual through Teams. When is my payment due? That is posted on the Wake Tech website, and I put the link here. We don't have to go to it, but if you go to the Wake Tech website, and the green button on I think it's the bottom right, paying for college, will take you to our posted tuition deadlines. What is a co-requisite and what is a prerequisite? Well, a prerequisite is a course that needs to be taken prior to taking that particular course. And a co-requisite is a course that needs to be taken at the same time as that particular course. So when you go to register for classes, you're going to see for each course, they're going to have the prerequisite listed for the class and or a co-requisite. So the prerequisite, for example, before you can take our English 111, you have to have placed out of or completed our transition English class. When you meet with an advisor, we're going to go over all of that and let you know if you meet the prerequisite. We're not going to advise you to take a course that you don't meet the prerequisite for. But it is helpful to know that what a prerequisite is, because you will see that. What is a credit hour? This is the way that we show how much a course is worth, which typically equates to the number of hours that you spend in total on that class per week. So essentially, a 3 credit hour class, you're not going to spend as much time in that one as you would a 4 credit class. A lot of our math, natural sciences, those are going to be 4 credit courses, so they're going to be a little bit heavier and take a little bit more of your time. Whereas a 3 credit, we even have a couple of 1 or 2 credit courses, and those are definitely not going to take up the amount of time that a 3 or 4 credit hour class would take. Also, tuition is based on credit hours. So for a student, it's not based on, enrollment into a program. Programs don't cost different things. It's the credit hour. So each semester you register for a set number of credit hours, and that's how we determine how much tuition you owe, or how much tuition you're charged. Is based on number of credits. How do I know what books and materials are needed? Once you register for classes in our system, which we call self-service, there will be a link provided in the course that takes you straight to the bookstore's website, where it lists the books that are required and any materials that might be required for that course as well. You can also go to the bookstore's website and do your own search to find out what books and materials are needed. And books and materials, that's a separate cost. So when you hear people talk about tuition and fees, that's completely separate from any books or supplies that you need. So keep that in mind. What is a developmental or transition course? So these are courses that prepare you for college level work. So, we have an English transition course, we have a math transition course, and then we have a chemistry course that we offer at Wake Tech for those students who didn't take chemistry in high school and need it to be able to take a chemistry at Wake Tech if your degree requires it. But again, these are just courses that are designed to help prepare you to be successful in the college level. How many courses should I take each semester? Again, that comes back to, what do you have going on in your life? What kind of responsibilities do you have? Do you work a full-time job? Do you have children? Do you have family members that you help take care of? What do you have going on? And talking with an advisor about those things, we can help you decide on what's a good amount of coursework to at least start with and see how it goes. And if it goes really well, then you can decide the next semester whether to decrease or increase the number of credits that you take. But if school is your main focus and you're planning to go full time and try to, be done in the allotted 2 years that it could take to get a degree, then you're probably going to be taking about 5 classes every semester. What is academic standing? So academic standing, we run academic standing at the end of every semester because we want to see how our students are doing. And to stay in good standing academically, you need a 2.0 or greater, cumulative GPA, which is an average of all of your courses, all of the grades in your courses that you've attempted. So to stay in good standing, 2.0 or better, if you go below that, that's when we will intervene. But we are constantly each semester, well, at least every fall and every spring, we are checking your academic standing and keeping tabs on how everybody's doing. Some other helpful tips. One of the biggest things, we see a ton of students who are really hesitant to talk to their instructors. And I don't know, I guess I try to think back on how I was in high school. I feel like I was pretty close to my instructors in high school, but when I got to college, I was a little bit nervous to talk to instructors. They just seemed busier, there were more students, and I almost felt like I was bothering them. But in high school, I don't know, I felt like I got to know them more, and they just, I don't know, it just seemed easier in high school than it did in college. But, the instructors, I can speak for the instructors at Wake Tech, and they want to help you. I mean, their primary role at Wake Tech is teaching, and so they want to help support you in any way that they can. If they don't know that you're having trouble, if they don't know that there's an issue, then they can't help you. So please reach out to your instructors when there's an issue or if there's an issue that comes up. Get involved on campus. That's a huge one. It's been tough, I think, for students to get involved over the last year and a half because of COVID. But there are definitely opportunities that are still out there where you can get involved. Meet with an advisor every semester. We absolutely encourage students to meet with us every semester before you register for classes, just to make sure you're on the right track. Even if you know this is what I want to take and this is why, and you've done the research, you know that those courses are required for your degree, we still encourage you to meet with your advisor every semester to make sure. We do this every day, and so we consider ourselves, experts, so why not utilize that? Don't feel like you have to do this by yourself. Pay attention to the deadlines. There are dates and deadlines that I think are important to know are out there. So, there's, a day that you can't register for any more classes after that day. There's also a day that is out there you can't withdraw from a class after that date. And if you do, then it affects your GPA. So if you're not doing well in a class and you're thinking about withdrawing, it's good to know, okay, I need to make this decision by this date. And all of those deadlines are posted on the college calendar, which is on the Wake Tech website. And again, I put a link here. We don't have to go to it. But if you go to the Wake Tech homepage at the top, there's a calendar button that you can pull up the calendar and find those dates. So for any of you who are enrolled and you're at Wake Tech already or in your first semester and you're still navigating things, it's important to go check out that calendar and know, when's the last day that I can withdraw from this class, or when does registration start, or when, all of those kinds of things are important to know. Check your student email often. This is how the college communicates with you now that you are enrolled as a student, or when you are enrolled as a student. Once you're admitted, that's how we're going to start communicating with you. We're no longer going to use your personal email address that you used when you filled out your admissions application. We are only going to use your Wake Tech student email. So definitely check your student email. And then we always encourage students to use a planner to stay organized and, keep everything on track, because especially if you're going to school full time and you've got all these dates and deadlines coming up, it's hard to keep them straight. So we encourage a planner. Or you can use your phone. So a lot of students like to put reminders and things in their phone to stay organized. All right. So, again, we're not 100% sure, who we have with us. But if you are a current student, you're in your first semester, do you have any tips that you'd like to share that maybe would be helpful to a new student coming in? And you're welcome to use the chat to put that out there. Or Ashlyn, do you have anything extra, any tips that you kind of have thought of as we've gone through this?
That's what I was actually just going to do, was bring it up with our other advisors that I know are on the call too. So maybe they have a different perspective since you and I worked on this presentation. So if anybody has any other tips they'd like to share with our first semester or brand new students, please feel free to do so.
I'll just say, this is Sam Isley, and I'm a part-time, great presentation. I would just say, do your homework. I kind of learned that the hard way when I was in college, and I flunked calculus, and when I went and cried in the professor's office about it at the end of the semester after I got my grade, he just asked me, he said, well, did you do your homework? And homework actually was not required in that class. And I thought I could just go to class and just kind of get it. But I think in math and other subjects, just do your homework, and then the tests are going to be problems from the homework. So I would say, instead of just looking at the material, I'd look at my book and think, well, I'm studying this. Rework the homework problems. I think that's a good way to put yourself in a test-taking situation for that. So that would be my advice.
That's awesome. Thank you, Sam. And Sam is also coming from the perspective of a previous faculty member at Wake Tech. He was one of our accounting instructors. So that was great advice. Anybody else have anything they want to share?
I think just the one more thing for me, Katie, if you don't mind, is really the time management piece. and going along with a planner. You know, it seems like something that's so simple. And even with our phones and reminders, you know, they're easy to kind of turn off. But, you know, really writing something down or being on top of your deadlines, but also understanding that things, you know, especially writing papers is what I go back to. It always takes longer than you think it's going to. So not overcommitting to things, and especially not overcommitting to a course load in your first semester. You know, we meet with a lot of students that want to take the 15 to 18 credit range when full-time is 12. And so especially in your first semester, kind of taking a little bit of a conservative route, you know, a lot of times it's more set you up for better success. So don't think that the small details are things to be overlooked. They can really help you succeed in the long run.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashlyn. So important. All right. Well, we will keep rolling. So just want to touch on some of the resources that we have available at Wake Tech. Obviously, we've already talked about academic advising, but we are here. We're here to help you through figuring out, you know, what comes next, helping you stay on track if transferring is your goal. We're here to help you with that. When you enroll at Wake Tech, once you start classes, the Individualized Learning Center or the ILC, and then the different academic success or tutoring centers around campuses are here to help you. Our ILC operates in person and virtually. So we, you know, again, with COVID in the last year and a half, we have really learned how to offer services virtually to our students that aren't able to come on campus. So know that that's available and that's free. That's part of your tuition and fees that you pay to the college. Student clubs and organizations. There are a lot of clubs and organizations at Wake Tech. There's really something for everyone. So once you get enrolled and get rolling with your classes, go ahead and jump out there and start looking to see what organizations you can get involved with, because that's what's going to help you, you know, really try to beef up your college applications if you're looking to transfer. If you're looking to get into some leadership opportunities, SGA is out there, so there's a lot of great opportunity to get involved. The faculty, we have again already said this, the instructors are here to help you. And so you want to make sure that you reach out to them if you need them. Even if at the beginning of the semester you want to reach out, introduce yourself. There's, as an instructor, they love that. They want to know who their students are. You know, kind of, you know, flip the role here. And if you were the instructor, wouldn't you want to know who your students are, or wouldn't you want to know if your students were struggling? So kind of flip that around and put yourself in their shoes, and come at it from that perspective. Financial aid, our foundation scholarships, these are services and resources that you have available to you. So, you know, you don't have to pay for college completely by yourself, because there are some resources out there to help you. DSS, our Disability Support Service Office, is amazing. If you need any accommodations, you know, additional test time, certain, you know, technologies to help you be successful, then we want to provide that to you. So if that's something that you need to learn a little bit more about, definitely check out the Disability Support Services website on the Wake Tech page. We have it broken down, or they have it broken down rather, step by step on what you need to do to get accommodation. So we want to provide those to you if needed. Here are some quick links to some of those resources that I just mentioned. Again, using your camera on your phone, you can just hover over the QR code to go straight to that website. We've got career services for those career exploration tools, student activities, academic advising, DSS, financial aid, and then our Wake Tech Foundation for those scholarship opportunities. And then if you want to check out more Advising Awareness Week sessions, we've also got a QR code right there in the middle for you. There's some really great sessions coming up. We had some really great ones today. I ended up jumping in 2 or 3 of them, and they were awesome. I definitely took away some good information from those. So check out the ones that we have going on for the rest of the week.